Hello. Today I'm going to show you guys how to do T50 plus with our Lash Sork. I just figured out a build that will actually do damage. I mean, not that much. I mean, I do way more than that, but will actually do damage up to 400k. And you will have a ton of survivability. Okay. If you play correctly. I've been fiddling around with builds, and none of them that I've done or seen have compared to this.
I'm not ready yet.
If you do your combo correctly, you should be one-shotting elite packs, but this is my first run of the day, so I'm a little rusty. I'll show you the build after I'm done. It's not perfect, but it gets the job done, and it'll definitely get better. I just started building it this week, and my my DPS has increased by about 4 times.
I'm not ready yet.
I don't have enough cooldown reduction at the moment, but as soon as I get that up, I will be doing a lot more fluid runs. Yeah, if you don't have Frost Nova up, you're just not gonna do damage, but you can permanently CC mobs. And you do relatively decent damage in between. I didn't get both of them. boss over here. Alright, let's see if we can finish this one. Gotta wait for your cooldowns before opening a door, otherwise you could get one shot. I like to use my unstable currents conservatively because I can usually one-shot packs pretty fast without it, but if I am unable to,
I'm not ready yet.
then I have it as an option. Fortunately, I used it on a single one earlier. I couldn't use any health pots, that's awesome. So that's where the cooldown would come in really handy. Unfortunately, I haven't had a good roll on the items that I need cooldown reduction on. And sometimes you do get stuck in packs like that where you can't auto attack, and it's just a skill issue on my end. I mean, I could have jumped out of that and hit, but usually it doesn't happen, and if it does, it feels really horrible. So this is where it comes really handy. They just are permanently stunned. It helps a lot if you can group them up with your teleport. Oh good. Kind of figured that would happen. Don't really waste my time with those on higher tier dungeons because it's not worth the chance of dying. Oh yeah. Alright, we're at the end. It doesn't really excel at taking bosses, but usually you can just, with resilience or whatever with disobedience, you can usually tank boss fights pretty well. Alright, that wasn't the smoothest run, but I'll get another one in and upload it later. I just want to give you guys a basic rundown on this build. Right, for the helm slot, I have a really good one. Max rolls on armor, cooldown reduction is pretty high. I'd like to get I'd like to get the basic attack a little bit higher, but the most important thing is you need to imprint disobedience on it so that you get the 50% bonus armor. A must for this build is remnant, of the infinite. And you want to max out the stun duration as much as you can. I actually have one in my bank. I don't know why this one's equipped, but that will be fixed. Gives you glass cannon, damage to stun enemies, damage to close enemies, which is really useful. This is pretty much non-negotiable for higher tier dungeons, temerity. Effects that heal you beyond 100% life, grant you barrier up to 80% of your maximum life. That lasts for 8 seconds, which is huge. You can keep this up pretty much indefinitely. If you're going between packs and your barrier might be coming down soon, you could just pop another potion and it'll stay up. Gloves, you want to exactly this. I think, yeah, this is about as good as you can get. Attack speed, critical strike chance, lightning critical strike chance. I put Edge Master on this so that it boosts my damage quite a bit. But later I might drop this for another survivability FX. Probably basic attacks reduce incoming damage by 20%. That seems pretty good. And I don't think it'll take off too much of the damage. Isu's Heirloom, or Asu's, however you want to call it, is really good. It's pretty necessary for this build because it really buffs your critical strike chance. It's buffs my critical strike by, let me see here. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, like 25%. If you can find a good roll on these, definitely keep them. They're incredible for your damage output. The wand, I run damage to vulnerable while you have a barrier. My barrier is up indefinitely unless I get one shot, as you saw. It's not perfect. I need vulnerability on here, so you want to run basic skill damage, and critical strike damage. Vulnerability and intelligence, or I don't know if you can get another critical strike roll on this, but as much critical strike damage as you can get, as long as you have basic attack damage all the way up. It's going to be a while before I replace that. I'd really like vulnerability, but it's just the best that I got right now. For your next slot, you're going to want damage reduction to close enemies, ranks of defensive skills. You don't really need damage and shock skill damage. I just really like the damage boost, plus it increases my attack power by almost 1,000, or not 1,000, 600. So it's really nice. I need cooldown reduction. I'd probably replace the shock skill damage, or either one, damage or shock skill damage, with cooldown reduction. But this next slot's just too good for me to replace for cooldown reduction right now. Ring slot, I don't have vulnerability, but this is just too good for me to pass up at the current state. You'd like vulnerability, critical strike chance, critical damage, and lightning critical damage on both of these. But the next slot, I imprint rapid, and it gives me 45% basic skill attack speed. You want deal increased damage while you have a barrier, and you deal more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. I don't think this one's necessary. I might replace this with defensive effects, but it does the trick right now. 40% increased damage to stun enemies is always nice for clearing those basic mobs, just because sometimes you don't want to waste your Frost Nova on them. If you can group them up and stun them, perma-stun them, it doesn't really matter. All it would do is it just increases, or like, it shortens the time you're going to be in the dungeon by quite a bit, I would say. Things you need on this is cooldown reduction, basic skill attack speed, basic skill damage, and I didn't get anything good for my third roll, but this is as good as I have right now. Might want to go for intelligence, or I don't think you can. Oh yeah, critical strike chance would be the best on this one. So this is nothing really special, but what makes this build shine is the Paragon board. I take control, just because you're perma-stunning everything, except for elites when they get unstoppable, but usually you can kill them before they get out of their CC. This isn't maxed. I'm working on maxing one of my other ones that I'll talk about later. But yeah, control boosts your damage by a ton, so definitely get that one. For my second board, you need to run Burning Instinct, mainly because you get a lot of attack speed in here and chance to execute non-elites, which actually helps out a lot in your higher tier dungeons. Also, you get some vulnerable damage and damage to burning enemies. Everything in this board's really nice to have. Damage to burning enemies, damage to elites, damage to burning enemies, and so forth. I run up here and I take Safeguard for damage reduction from elites. I usually don't get killed by elites. I get killed by the gigantic ranger that one-shots you sometimes. If you ignore him in the corner, he loves to pick you off. Damage reduction, armor, damage reduction from elites. In this board, I run exploit for the vulnerable damage. This will be upgraded next after the one I am going to talk about after this. So I run up and grab more damage to burning enemies before I go into my next board, which will be Elemental Summoner. Come down here for more attack speed, because attack speed is what CCs your enemies and deals the most damage. You definitely need it to pick off those packs of elites before they're out of their CC. In this board, I run Imbiber, which gives me plus almost 100% damage while healthy, and I am always healthy with Temerity. So yeah, this one is by far the best glyph in the game for damage, in my opinion. Once I started running it, I increased my damage by about 4 times. This week I was struggling to hit above 100k crits, and now I am critting baseline 300s. I can get over 400k on occasion if I get my combo right. And again, that's just a skill issue, but I want to show you guys this because I see way too many videos on YouTube about Arc Lash's work, and I think it just gives it a bad name because all I see are measly 40, 50k crits, and it's ridiculous. You just need to run Imbiber, and it pretty much solves that issue for you. So, yep, just run through here, get all the willpower you can. Later I'll maybe go down here so I can get bonus damage on my alts. I don't have the dexterity for it right now, but after you fill out this board completely, you're going to want to run right and get your next board, which is Frigid Fate. For the vulnerable damage, don't really need this. All you need is for the dexterity, top and bot here. But the gold resist is okay. The intelligence boost is nice. And that'll just keep getting buffed. But this is what we're here for, and this will boost your damage by quite a bit. You see it's already at 40%, and it gives me intelligence, and right here I'm less than that, and I have the whole board filled out. But I'll upgrade this one later. But yeah, so you run Tactician here. You just need 25 dexterity to max it out. And this will increase your damage by a ton because you are going to make those elite packs vulnerable very, very often. Alright, that is my glyph build, Paragon tree. If you want to take notes, I'll run through it so you can pause the video whenever you want. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys have fun out there with this sword build.